Shout out to all my new Adoxadongers out there. I'm so glad that you are here. Don't be trying to leave because I will come over your house and make you listen some more. To those of you who are G's, like not G's, OGs, and you have been here for a hot second, I ain't talking about YouTube. I got like 3 videos here. I'm talking about you go way back. I'm talking about you go back to 180 degrees of longitude between us, baby. I fucked that title up every time I say it, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It's a BL that could have been, should have been, or some shit. That was my first one. And if you have been here that long, I mean, you're not gonna do it because I know we podcasters, both listeners and uh hosts, we tend to be a little bit of a shy bunch. You know, we introverted, we don't want to talk, we ain't got nothing to say, but we will listen. We will listen. So, if you just get bored one day and you're like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to leave a comment, let me know if you've been here since, I'm talking about the tippy top of Idoc Sadam. And because you are not stupid and you know how the internet works, today, Saturday, May, what, yeah, is it the 16th or 17th or something like that? Perfect Crown finished. It's over, guys. 12 episodes. And it took all 12 of them motherfuckers for me to figure out why this drama sucked in the first half. So let's get into it. And if you love Idoc Sarang as much as I love Idoc Sarang and you would like to keep up with Idoc Sarang and, kind of, I don't want to use a word like stalk, baby. That sounds like that's not going to age well. But like if you want to find me on other places on the internet, I'm on Patreon, I'm on Ko-Fi, I am on Spotify, on Apple, that's audio only. And yeah, I just want you to be able to find me. So if one day the algorithm decides to nuke me, you can still find me, baby, because they might get rid of me, but they don't get to take my opinions or something. I'm still gonna have opinions about things, and that's all that is here. This is for entertainment purposes only, for adults, not for children. I'm telling your mama, if you're listening to this and you're not an adult, with that being said, I'm trusting that, you sneaking or just adults are listening. So Perfect Crown wrapped up on it today. And what are my thoughts about it? And I am, when I say fresh off of this, I'm talking about not even 30 minutes ago did I finish watching this drama. And I just have to come in here and do what Idoc Sadang, only Idoc Sadang can do. So my last watch along impressions about this drama were that episodes 4 to 6 or 5 to 7, look, the first half of Perfect Crown was bad because of reasons that I finally found out. The primary reason, amongst other things, is that Yui, who I affectionately call her Yui, y'all. No, I'm not dyslexic. I just prefer Yui instead of IU. It just doesn't roll off my tongue as well. Yui, we are used to seeing her struggle. Baby, I'm talking about hot chocolate is your fucking breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. On my first impressions episode, I told you I could not like when I finally had a cup of hot chocolate again, I realized that I could not drink it really because that's all you and them was having for all day meals. And something in me was like, baby, no, you don't want no more. You don't want no hot chocolate. You just watched about 16 episodes of a girl and her granny before granny died consume hot chocolate as their nutrients all day long. Okay? I'm saying that because we used to watch Yui struggle on Scarlet Heart Rio. Are y'all joking right now? And then the fucking story ended sadly. Like we used to seeing her struggle, strive, be thirsty, be broke, be struggle. We are used to seeing her do that. She does that so well. She does it so good. Then when she gets in a drama like this, where she's called to be something that acting wise, it's like she doesn't have the range for that. We all know that the real life person that is Yui, obviously she's an idol and she has money, but just because you have money doesn't really mean that you can play that role of pretension well. And I think that that's why this drama is terrible in the first half, for the first several episodes. Yui doesn't really do all that great when she has to be this stuck up, conceited socialite. She just doesn't. It feels like 3, 2, 1 and acting. That's what it feels like. And I don't know if she understands that that's what happened. Yui girl, you look like you know a little bit of English. Or were you doing that on purpose? Or was your character putting that persona on for the public because you felt like that's what they wanted? They wanted shallow, so you gave them shallow. Now look, I'm a writer and I like to project shit onto shit that's not really happening because I like to think better of situations. And that comes back to bite me sometimes because sometimes something is just not good and you need to call a spade a spade. You struggle really well. So if you don't want me to tell you any of this and you're one of those folks who likes to, you have patience, like Herculean patience, and you're able to like not watch a drama until it's all the way done, you might not want to listen to this because I'm going to blow it. Yui is, her story outside of the palace was just like, ugh. Inside the palace is where all the magic happened, didn't it? There is no shocker for me that inside of the confines of the palace gates is where the story was actually good. When she started to live there full time, that is when she became a person. Why? Because inside the walls of the palace, Yui had to struggle. She had to connect, she had to convey feelings of desperation, feelings of sadness, feelings of anguish. And as this little pretentious bopper that, can't nobody stand and all that around Hanguk, and she couldn't stand nothing either, she just did not have the ability to give us any depth. I'm sure that character called for, some very superficiality. There was a lot of superficialness about her, but it just feels like, I don't know. And I don't want to make Yui feel bad because Yui is an excellent actress. It still seems as though you could play pretentious better than she did. That's all I'm saying. And I'm just saying, Yui, you have so much talent. You have so much of pretty much everything. Your man is the Lee Jun Suk. Okay, okay. You don't play pretentious well. Now, this is befuddles me and I can barely get it out because I don't understand it. Why don't I understand it? Because while I talk about her pretentiousness and all that, I'm thinking about Hotel de Luna. We all saw it. In this, you can tell that Yui wanted to be beautiful and, it was just like, oh my God, you're so beautiful every 5 seconds. Hotel de Luna, it was almost like the directors were like, look, Yui, this the script or whatever, but we're going to let you change outfits 11 times per scene. And she was like, yes, I want to do this. And her style was just like a romantic goth, like a soft goth. She had on just from head to toe. She was killing it. But she never gave us this superficial, just surface level ditzy type of character that you was just like, conceitedness. We didn't get that. We got, in Hotel de Luna, we got a woman that would strut around in her heels and her, wonderful lacy frilly dresses, but would also blow your head off and shit. Like that is probably why she was like a badass with the best wardrobe you've ever seen in your life, and unless Yui is able to marry the badassery of it all with her character, just please don't play a character like this again. If this comes back for a second season, girl, can you please quit that job and make him go out there and, I don't know. But when we were in the palace, she was a person and you could get with that. I even forgave the fact that she didn't start liking Eon for real till he became a king, till he decided he was gonna be the king. Now she just so in love. They had their intimacy and everything after that. And I thought that was kind of like, okay, I see you. But, it was what it was with that. Um, and yeah, that was a little hot, like 38 hot. That was scathing. I don't like having to say this about Yui because a noob listening to Idoc Sadong who has not had the familiarity with Yui's work may think that she just some little sucker or something. She's not. It's just that her persona outside of the palace was just like, no, Now, let me offer another dousing of coolant to why what she was offering and what this role did wasn't quite as bad as it could have been. And that's because when it comes to dramas coming out of Hanguk, historical, or as I like to call it, they all chosen, baby. I don't care which dynasty was ruling. I don't care. It's all chosen for me, okay? So chosen era dramas is what I call them. They are all so special, aren't they? They have this charm, this mystique, this magic. I'm going to call it magic. Because when you get in them palace walls, all that, you know, BTS and K-pop and shit, none of that matters because, like, they try to marry to the 21st century or which century we in now, yeah. But they try to marry it. It never works. And I loved, now some people may not, and I haven't read any reviews about this, but some people may not like that when they were in the palace, they ain't really give us a whole lot about what was going on outside the palace. But that's why the palace is so enthralling. Because whether it's a historical drama that's just eyeball deep in history and we ain't got no crazy, weird present day monarchy, nothing matters outside of the politics and the drama of what's going on in the court and all that. And that is why when she came to the palace, she had a personality because the palace is the most dangerous place in the country. I think it took me, I don't know if I want to say it took me too long to figure that out, but I don't know that I could make methodical sense of why are historical dramas so engaging. And it's because of the dichotomy of people desperate to be a royal, yet inside of those gates is the most dangerous place in the world, and literally everything is punishable by death. There's really not a whole lot of wiggle room. And the beatings that you get, you probably gonna die from the beating because after somebody flogged your damn thighs and shit 100 times, those cuts are not gonna heal right. So just the mystique of inside of the palace and that they gave us nothing on the outside, I enjoyed that because why? I wanted nothing but drama. I just needed drama. So let's move on to Usopp. Or Prince Eon. Prince Eon, where do I start with him? So, God, guys, wow. In episode 12, I have to go straight there, don't I? Because if you've seen this like I have, you know exactly what I'm about to say, right? So, second spoiler if you don't want to know. Okay, so Minister Min has been found out, and Prince Eon Prince Eon asks him Did you try to kill me? Because he ended up being the actual villain. And he's, yeah, I tried to kill you. And Prince Iyan, in any other drama, especially for a male lead, the producers or the writers or somebody would have taken advantage of the opportunity for the male lead to be super alpha. Because in this moment, like few other moments, he has all the justifiable reason to do that fantastic yell shit they do. I love it. I don't care which actor does this. But when they say stuff to the point where they're yelling, I love it when they do that shit. That shit is hard. I love it. This was the most justifiable time. And Prince Iyan has yelled people down and he does it afterward. But in this moment, when he should be screaming at the top of his lungs, like, what the, he doesn't. Instead, with a face that is broken into his face is so, I'm using a word that really doesn't capture it, but I don't know how else. Pathetic. You see the grief just spread across his face into his eyes, and then you get that pathetic falling of his face. And he asks the prime minister of Hankook, why? And y'all, I had to watch this scene about 5 or 6 times because, as you guys know, I'm a polyglot. But this how you know you've been studying a language for too long, and you might know more. You might know more about this language than you give yourself credit for if sometimes you feel like they say that shit in perfect English. Now, look, y'all, there are some people that are polyglots, and maybe one or two may trip and listen to this episode. But I have to put this on the airway because I just don't know any other people who may experience this. There are times when I'm looking at a drama, and when it comes to a Hankook drama, out of all the locales, Hankook is the place where I can pretty much multitask while I watch the drama. I don't have to watch it toe for toe because I can pretty much follow what's going on. But there are times when they say something that is in pure Korean. I'm talking about there are no Konglish words, which are just words that are, Koreified, like coffee being cuppy, those you can make out. Sometimes they say a pure Korean sentence and I understand it. I don't know what the fuck that is. And somebody might say, well, shit, if you're a polyglot and you're learning the language, you understand what he said. No, I'm talking about something about the tempo, the timbre, something about the pace, something about just the way it falls in my hearing waves. I understand exactly what the fuck they said. I don't get it. I don't know. It's a phenomenon. I'll find some other polyglots to talk about it with. But this is kind of one of those moments for me, even though it's not as close to what I just described, because in Korean, why is way. Okay. So Prince Iyan has this very deep voice, and he's choked up, and he's broken, and he's grieving in real time. And he asks him why, and y'all, it took me 3 or 4 times to say, you know what, he's full of grief, and you do hear the way. It's just his voice is so sultry or some shit. He says way, but it sounds like he says why. Like sometimes I identify with the emotion and the phraseologies so well that it's almost like the translation is irrelevant. It just like it translates to me regardless of whether I understand what is said or not. I don't know, but he says way, right? But it sounds like he says why. And God, he was just broken. And y'all, this is the best scene. This is the best scene in the entire drama. It's episode 12. It's like, all I know is that there are 24 minutes left when he says this. He says, way. But he actually says, he says why. Sounds like he says why to me, but he says what? Y'all, he's broken. He is broken. What does this scene remind me of? It's like Ian couldn't get angry because I could tell that the prime minister was someone he always looked up to. Somebody he wanted to like. It's totally different when it's somebody you want to like because you overlook a lot of things. And Ian had been trusting the prime minister all the way up until pretty much 5 minutes before that scene. He trusted him all the way because he felt like, much like Ian's position kept him in check, that prime minister's position kept him in check. But the problem is that Ian is a good person. And good people, regardless of the position that they're in, they're going to do good things because they don't have it in them to do what's not right. Prime Minister did. And even though he felt like, oh, you're the prime minister and the nation is your responsibility, and this is what's going to always make him do the right thing, and he would proffer that to the people. But behind the scenes, he'd kill your ass too. He will blow some shit up on you. And that's what he did. So Prince Ian is so fucking tender. He cries a lot, girls and guys, doesn't he? He cries so much and so easily. And I said to myself, I know exactly why he's like that. He's like that because as a child, his father, who was the king, obviously, he was not allowed to express himself. He was not allowed. It was not okay for him to be emotional. So when he began to engage with Yui or Huichu, he was finally able to, I liken that to sometimes when you're in a relationship that scars you emotionally, when you move forward, you're very afraid to bear your raw emotions to another person. Prince Ian to me cried so much and so easily because he was finally feeling safe enough to do so. And I just loved that. I found his tenderness, most dramas give us that alpha, that hard ass chaber that will kill for his chick, and we do love it. I ain't gonna lie, keep going. But there's something about, there's no point when I felt like, look at Ian the punk. Look at him, he saw, never. So when they left the palace and, because now we can see why it was the perfect crown. I'm not a sister soldier warrior, but I know they were happy that he denounced the crown like he did and gave his reasoning that all people are equal and that it's the people's choice whether they want to continue with the monarchy. And I was just proud for the sister soldier warrior hoods because I know they love that. For me, Prince could have went and executed the prime minister on TV. I would have been cool with that. I guess that's my problem. But I'm just saying, I'm okay with either way. He wanna he want the country to be evil, or he, kill everybody that tried to kill him. I'm just saying. But when he left the palace, he was so fucking lost. He could not cut. He could not chef or whatever. He could not even cut his little vegetables to cook. He was a mess. Prince Ian has never had a life, and now he has a life. And I loved that for him. I love how soft he was. I loved how he was pretty much a stay at home husband or some shit at the end, you know? He really could not face going to work because at the end of the day, his life was holding the crown in place. I loved that he had an opportunity for him, leaving the throne was like leaving prison. And it's not till you get in there, unless you're a concubine or some shit. They know the problems in the palace, you know, but other folks who just desperate to get in there, you don't realize until you're in there that, you know, it's prison. That's why gated communities kind of bother me a little bit, because it's exclusive as you think it is, where it's like nobody can get in. I don't see it that way. I see it as y'all trying to keep us in. Please don't be trying to keep me in shit. Don't try to keep me in nothing. Okay? Just no gates. No gates. So I got to put some respect on his name because I want to see him as a male lead in something. His name is Yu Shu Bin. Okay? He was the right hand man to Eon, and then we got Yun. She was the right hand man to Yui, but also Eon. I really didn't understand that. That was lost in translation to me, why she was pretty much his right hand at one point. Like it's like Taehyun passed the baton off to Hye-jung, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me. I was happy to see it though, because I feel like Eun mastered that role. And even though she struck me as a little bit of a Tom, that they got together, baby, let me tell you what, you Shubin, I'm sure you've got roles in other things, because now that I'm looking at your face, okay, you have definitely been in things and you have done things. And I'm just gonna go ahead and go look for you, baby. I'm just asking. But yeah, he is everything. I love him. I love that role he played. I mean, he's perfect. God, his story of being an orphan, that he feels honored that he was left at the palace. There's like, he doesn't have any of that trauma that most adopted or abandoned or orphaned children have. I don't want to speak for them all, but we know that the typical emotional station of those who are orphaned is that they feel a lot of trauma and a lot of resentment for being left behind. He was glad, he was honored, you know, and he took that position, and he just does it like he just did such a great job. I don't know, you know, he's a support role. I hope he gets an award for it. I think he did that. He was that good. He really was. And just his earnestness with his romance with her, he just, baby, um, Chaehyun, do I have to, I mean, Shubin, you Shubin. Do I have to walk to Hangul or something? Okay, because you are perfect. He's atypical as far as, no, he's not quite as shiny as our male lead, and he ain't gotta be. He was just perfect in that role, and I just loved him. And yes, so and let me talk about Stephen. Yes, I loved watching him go darker and darker. I did like watching him just lose his little mind. You know, he really pulled off the dark double crossing enemy well. You know, he did such a good job. And, you know, there was a point when I was looking, I said, man, I know what's wrong with him too, baby. I'm a psychologist on this shit. I was like, um, he's alone. He's lonely. And yes, he had unrequited love, or one old lopsided, unrequited love with Yui. You know, he been like her since way back. But I'm just feeling like, Steven, yes, baby, we can solve your problem. I really can solve your problem. That's why nobody in Hanguk is gonna invite me to the set, baby. Cause I will come there ready with my they'll be like, why is the caterer girl, why she dressed like she got a role in this? And they'll have to wait until he is in the scene where he knocks back a cup of cognac. and he looking alone. And right before he throw that glass, I will strut right up there on set and help Steve. Yes, understand that, baby. Why is you tripping off somebody from high school? Okay, nah, but yeah, he's alone. He don't have nobody. It's an isolating, lonely job. He's evil, so there's that. But you know, um, I don't know, y'all. I just like Stevie S, and I still like him. Is that bad? Sorry, I still like him. But when they got into the present day, that's where the story kind of fell off for me again. It didn't get so bad that I just wanted to puke. But we had UE being pretentious again, and it was just like, okay, you know? And I just didn't ever understand why she had to work the way she worked or whatever. I get working, but I just didn't understand that. Even though Prince Ian wasn't on the throne anymore, baby, that better come with a check. If your ass used to be the king for about 12 hours, you still supposed to get paid. Why I gotta work all day and night on this shit? Another thing is Yui's dad. At the end, he was like, and I ain't never want you to lose. I always want you to win. I just want you to stop being mad at everybody. And I'm like, baby, this might be working on the Sister Soldier Warrior hood. No, it ain't. It ain't working on them. They don't be forgiving shit. Because that dad has been pure shite the entire time. And it's like, baby, you're not finna make this up in the last 5 minutes. I didn't hate him or whatever because he a G and he carried himself like, he would have went on ahead and carried out them executions that I would have if I was Prince Ian. But I feel like, baby, you not finna be able to shoot this girl one line, and that's gonna excuse why you treated her like utter shit her whole childhood. So I'm gonna need y'all to do something different with that one. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. But that little funky ass line and you walk out, and in that scene, what would have made it better is as thirsty as this would have been, I would have wanted Yui to reach out for him and give him a hug. Just force his little stiff ass to give you a hug. Make him give you a hug. Make that dude break down in a pool of tears. Cause he's just too hard. And I'm just like, you're going to have a heart attack. You're too damn rough. Like, damn. So yeah, I had to throw that out there, baby, because they like to make you forget the evil people was evil at the end, and nope. And mama, girl, how she get away with all that shit? Now, we know that the prime minister was the one who really tried to murder the king, and it ended up Yui got poisoned, and he tried to blow up council hall, and it worked, but it didn't kill the king. He tried twice. But this is the thing, mama, back in the day, when his brother was on the throne, Prince Ian's brother was on the throne, she wanted to ruin his little royal edict that Ian's supposed to be next so she could put her son on the throne. She started a fire. I'm like, okay, do they only have access to matches in the fucking palace? So she sets fire to the thing so that, she could destroy that evidence. But as a result of that, it ended up killing the brother. Baby, that is murder in all the countries in the world. So I'm just trying to figure out how she got to have a life. But I guess Ian was like, I can't have my little nephew living with me because he gonna fuck up what I got going. I don't know. I don't know if that's what happened. But she got to, skate or something. I don't know. But I am glad that I finished this drama. I'm not gonna lie. I did watch it all the way up to the end, to the credits. Sure did. So, when it was good, it was cool. It was watchable and all that. I just hope that with the next drama that we are going to get out of Hanguk that everybody's gonna be seeking after, and what is that? Say you, Adak. The next drama that's gonna come out of Hanguk that we are going to be highly anticipating is Lee Jung-suk's response. What the hell you mean, Adak Sadang? The response. Y'all, look. Now, you know how I am. I theorize and shit. Y'all don't have to go with me on these theories, but baby, I connect dots. And sometimes when the dots are dotting, I go ahead and draw a line between them. Because Lee Jung-suk, he is in talks for a new K-drama by Hotel de Luna director. Now, do y'all know what that means when I hear that type of shit? Okay, Yui was the star of the Hotel de Luna drama. Okay, his girlfriend. Um, he went on ahead and let her kiss this motherfucker on this, didn't he? He let her kiss him several times. Lee Jung Suk is one of those actors out of Hanguk that how can I say this? He is not playing with your ass. When he kiss you, he kissed the fuck out of you. You be pregnant when you get done kissing him. You know, and my thing is like, I just like to get a little creative in my imagination and say, when you dating an actor, it might be tough to watch your significant person on the screen doing shit that you don't know for sure if they really like it or not. Hint, Lee Jung Suk, she loved that shit. I'm sorry, she did. Um, but I think what may save them and what may actually keep these relationships going is that it's tit for tat. What's wrong with a little healthy competition? It's like, okay, oh, okay. Oh, so y'all gonna do that? Okay, well, I got a drama coming up. Yeah, and so, it's a romance drama. You remember your director? Yeah, he was like, hey, and you know me, I know you, because she used to be in this, so I'm gonna give you this. And yeah. And it is a romance. Yup, it's a romance. And yeah, we just gonna I mean, if I was an actress and my man was an actor and he got on there and it was like, oh, wow, you did all that. I'd be on the horn like, baby, what's what's the most romantic shit y'all got? Because that's what I want. Because the only way you can keep the synergy going is to constantly make that other person know they could lose you to the very person they watching you kiss or something. I don't know. I think it's healthy. Shit. Oh God, and it's called paradise. I mean, I'm just saying. And I'm not trying to talk about UE. This is all in good fun. But John, he done took he not finna go on no drama and fuck up. He not finna go on there and we be like, damn, why is he not able to act anymore? We not doing that. He's not going to do that. He not gonna do it. So UE, you know what that means, right? You don't know what it means? Girl, it means you have to, the next drama you do better be Scarlet Heart Rio Part 2. Okay? You gotta go in there, love somebody. You gotta be sad, drink you some hot chocolate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, baby. Carry your granny on your back. Be in love with a man who love you too, but won't say it or something. These are the dramas we love you for. And your next one, Yui, when you go in there, I think because Jung Suk is he's matching your energy. Make sure that the next one you go to, that is something that he is not going to be able to match quite so easily.